Recovered intact but disassembled from a sealed pit beside the Great Pyramid in 1954, the Khufu ship is among the oldest, largest and best-preserved wooden vessels from antiquity. Dating to the reign of Pharaoh Khufu about 2500 BCE, the craft embodies both superb ancient woodworking and powerful funerary symbolism. A solar bark meant to carry the king with the sun god into the afterlife. In 1954, Egyptian archaeologists uncovered a rectangular limestone pit cut into the Giza bedrock on the southern side of Khufu's pyramid. Inside lay a perfectly ordered kit of cedar timbers and fittings that had been deliberately disassembled and interred. The larger of two pits contained a set of 1,224 wooden pieces which, when reconstructed, produced a full-size vessel more than 43 meters long. Because it was buried adjacent to the king's pyramid and carefully sealed, archaeologists interpret the boat as part of Khufu's funerary equipment, a ritual object intended for use in the afterlife. The restored ship measures roughly 43.4 meters in length and about 5.9 meters across the beam. It was built primarily of Lebanon cedar, a high-quality imported wood, prized in ancient Egypt. The hull was constructed in a shell-first manner. Wide cedar planks formed the outer skin, and frames, ribs, and crossmembers were later inserted. The planks were joined without iron nails. The builders used mortise and tenon joints, lashings of plant fiber, often identified as halfagrass, and unpegged tenons to bind the hull components together. This method produced a flexible, strongly lashed shell that could tolerate stresses without rigid fastenings, a technique known from other Egyptian and Eastern Mediterranean boats. After excavation, the disassembled planks were carefully documented and later reassembled. The rebuilt vessel was displayed for decades in a purpose-built museum at Giza, the Solar Boat Museum, which you can see here in front of the pyramid. In August 2021, the Khufu ship was transferred to the new Grand Egyptian Museum near the pyramids as part of a large program to centralize and modernize Egypt's archaeological displays. Scholars generally interpret the Khufu ship as a solar bark, a funerary and cosmological symbol rather than a simple transport craft. In ancient Egyptian religion, the sun god Ra traversed the sky by day in a boat and journeyed through the underworld at night. Royal burials frequently included boats to ensure the king's participation in that cosmic voyage. The placement of the ship beside the pyramid supports the view that it was intended to provide the pharaoh with a vehicle for his heavenly passage or to symbolize his regenerative journey with the sun deity. Although the Khufu ship is frequently described as intact and theoretically capable of floating, scholars debate whether it was a working seagoing vessel, a riverine ceremonial boat, or a wholly symbolic object. Structural features: a broad, shallow hull with no deep keel and construction by lashed planks, suit calm river travel but would be marginal for open sea navigation. Some scholars point to evidence of wear or water-related repairs as indications of actual use. Others stress the burial context and ritual associations as primary. The use of imported Lebanon cedar demonstrates elite access to Mediterranean timber trade networks, underlining the state's capacity to marshal long-distance resources for royal monuments. The Khufu ship is important for several reasons. Technically, it preserves construction details, mortise and tenon joinery, lashing techniques, plank shapes, that inform our understanding of early Bronze Age shipbuilding across the eastern Mediterranean. In the photo you can see original rope of the ship. Culturally, it illuminates the centrality of boat imagery to Egyptian kingship and afterlife belief, showing how material forms were enlisted to perform religious meanings. Museum-wise, the conservation and high-profile relocation of the vessel to GEM have made it a global emblem of archaeological stewardship and national heritage. Finally, the Khufu ship continues to spur experimental archaeology. Basing reconstructions on its design, researchers test Bronze Age naval capabilities and the practicalities of ancient seafaring. The Khufu ship stands at the intersection of craft, ritual, and state power. Its fine cedar planks and ingenious lashings testify to a high-level tradition of woodworking. Its burial beside the Great Pyramid enshrines the idea of the pharaoh's celestial voyage, and its careful excavation, reconstruction, and display tell a modern story of conservation and public archaeology. Whether read as a river barge, a pilgrimage craft, or a purely symbolic solar bark, The vessel remains a singular archaeological window onto the technological skill and religious imagination of Old Kingdom Egypt. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe so you won't miss new ones.